Ave everyone, it's 08:30 on Saturday, June 4th, 2016, and I'm just getting ready for the wedding of one of my best friends. But wait, I'm hearing some of you saying, you can only have one best friend. Well, while I believe that there is a linguistic argument to be made for that sentiment, I also disagree with it. I agree that it's disingenuous to call practically every single person your best friend. But if, as I do, you think of your friends as being in tiers, that's T-I-E-R, not T-E-A-R. Well, usually. Then methinks it is perfectly acceptable to refer to those friends in the highest tier as the best of your friends, as they are a substantially smaller number than the sum total of all friends. For those who are interested but don't already know, I classify my friends, well, everybody actually, into 13 tiers, ranging from enemy to wife, with family being a special case. And perhaps someday I'll go into the criteria in more detail, but for now that simple list should suffice to give you a decent idea of how my mind works on this subject. And really, it's all immaterial anyway, unless, like certain people, you're super interested in where you currently stand. But anyway, we'll be heading to that wedding here in about an hour, but in the meantime, I shall talk about what has transpired over the last month or so. If you saw my previous vlog, Reflections 2016, you'll know that I recently finished the second semester of my first year at college. I wholeheartedly agree with most of the sentiments expressed in that video. There are some which are contradictory, so obviously I would have to disagree with one or another parts of them, and then there are some parts that I just flat out disagree with. But yeah, college went well. Nothing super out of the ordinary to report about the last few weeks, except that I did, by some strange workings of the providence of God, end up receiving an A in metallurgy after all. We did have a third test that was super easy, and so I guess between that and doing really well on the final, I don't actually know my final grade because he doesn't post assignment individual grades and we don't get it back, but I assume I must have done really well, and those two scores coupled with my high homework score enabled that final number. I don't know how exactly all that worked out, but somehow it did. Chapter Focus Week, the long camp up in Wisconsin for local intervarsity chapter, was also very fun. Those shots that were in the woods from the Reflections vlog were all filmed there, as well as Zeke's portion in the brown wood-paneled room. But yeah, it was really awesome. I was doing the small group leaders track, which, as the title may suggest, trains you to be a small group Bible study leader. It was interesting. If I'm being 100% honest, I would say that most of it, as far as the actual leadership stuff goes, I already had learned in Taekwondo and BSF, but there were some intervarsity specific aspects that are nice to know. And a big part of it was that we actually got to lead a small group made up of other people in the track, and that definitely increased my confidence, my ability to lead in the way that they like leaders to lead. That is, doing their method of Bible study instead of just kind of reading the passage and talking about it, as any other Bible studies I've led before have gone. And by any others, I mean like the 1 or 2 times that I led our study group of guys. Personally, I think this would be a totally acceptable look, but not for a wedding. And it'd probably make me look like even more of a pretentious jerk than I already do. Even I have limits. Anyway, it was also great at Chapter Focus Week to get to know the people in the chapter more. While there were a couple of people there who are already my friends, and everybody there I was friendly with, I would definitely say that we grew closer to each other and as a chapter while we were there. After Chapter Focus Week, I drove out to Yellowstone National Park, where my mom met me in the RV, and we took 5 days exploring that. Vlogs of which time shall be appearing in their due course. I apologize for the fan noise, but it's currently 89 degrees in this room, and I don't want to show up to the wedding a total sweatbox. Once I'm there, there's nothing really I can do about it. But anyway, we also visited Golden Spike National Historic Site, which was really awesome to me for reasons I go on and on about in its respective vlog, and Tule Springs Fossil Beds National Monument, I believe, just outside of Las Vegas, Nevada. That one was interesting because being such a new national monument park thing, it has literally nothing there. Well, nothing man-made. Well, not national parkish stuff at least. So that was, well, I won't get into it here. You can go watch that vlog once it's up. hopefully soon. I won't get to start working on this vlog till Monday at least, because one of the hinges on my laptop broke a long time ago to where it still works, but I have to be super careful with it, and I'm finally getting it repaired, and it won't be done till Monday. Or at least that's what they told me originally. It was actually more like Wednesday. But after that, I hope to work on getting this up, obviously, and start making a dent in those back vlogs. Since after this wedding, I don't have any real plans for a couple of weeks. But then I'll be heading to Pasadena to take the Perspectives course, which is a sort of history and theology and Bible study course designed, well, really for anyone who's looking for God's direction in their life, but specifically for folks who might be considering missionary service, just to kind of gain some perspective on the world, God's plan for it, and your place in said plan. So that'll be interesting. It starts June 14th and goes through July 7th. Those dates, you may notice, overlap with the 7th annual VidCon at the Anaheim Convention Center. Tickets for which I bought super early, before I knew I was going to be taking this perspective course thing, because when they first come out, they're super cheap, comparably. So I got those, and I'm going to keep them because the class only is from 9 to noon in the mornings. So although I'll miss most, if not all, of Thursday, I can head over there Friday after class and stay through the end on Saturday, provided there's not an overwhelming amount of homework. I wasn't sure how this hat would look with the gray suit. I think it's nice enough. After the Perspectives course, I have some other plans, but I'm also all ready and have an hour till I need to leave for this wedding, and some stuff I can get done. So hang on a sec. It is now 10:22, leaving a bit late because I had to reinforce the buttons on my suit coat that were literally hanging on by a thread. Sorry for the intimate angle, but I'm carrying some boxes in my truck to take to my friend's mom at the wedding, so we're just gonna have to both deal with it. Speaking of things we're just gonna have to deal with, yes, it's that time of year again, where you have the air conditioner on full blast and a fan plugged into your cigarette lighter. That brings it down to a rather nice 88 degrees in here. For some perspective, it's currently 92 in the shade, which again, isn't all that bad, really. But what was I talking about? Ah yes, summer plans. After the Perspectives course and VidCon, my only plans for the month of July are taking a trip to India with one of my friends from school who you did not see in the other vlog because he was not a first-year student. But anyway, he's from Calcutta and invited me over to his house to spend a couple weeks. So, since I'm still young enough to be under my mom's work benefits, I get to visit India and have my transport and lodging almost all paid for. Unfortunately, United only flies to New Delhi, well, a couple other countries, but the closest one to Calcutta is New Delhi, which is still another plane ride away from Calcutta, so I am going to have to pay for that leg of the trip. But, as with the temperatures, it's all about relative perspective. A trip to India where the only thing you have to pay for is a tiny leg of your flight and then the food you eat while you're there, while by my standards rather hefty, by the standards of most Americans, is quite a good deal. We're still working out exact dates for that trip, but it'll be sometime in July, maybe bleeding into August a little bit. And depending on when we do that, I'll either have some time at home and then head back up to school, or, and this also depends on my mom's work schedule for August, we'll take the RV and RV our way back up towards Rapid City for school that month. But yeah, that's all my plans for the summer. We'll see how they end up working out. The end.